welcome to the KVJShow podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch, and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, right. Hello, and welcome to the KVJ the Show podcast. Happy Wednesday. We've got Virginia on her way home. We talked to her towards the tail end of the regular show, and she was in Slidell, Louisiana.
It's always nice to have the band back together.
Yes.
It makes it easier.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. We'll have to deal with the entertainment dirt. We'll let Virginia step back in and do it. And then she can deal with all the emails on when a story is wrong.
Did you get a lot? Did you get a ton of emails?
No, I haven't really seen anything yet. I But I do have other things that I've screwed up. So we'll get to that. I think I was clean, at least on the entertainment, but I definitely screwed other things up, which people are going to let me know about. And that's what this After the Show is all about here today, is doing those kind of things. Now, one thing that was absolutely lovely was having my wife alert me that I had actually received my Lindagram for Valentine's Day. Virginia's mom had got her little singing group together, and they were leaving Valentine's Day singing grams for everybody, and mine had come through on the voicemail that my wife pretty much checks because mine's all jacked up, and the singing is just absolutely lovely.
Love me with all of your heart, that's all I want, love. Love me with all of your heart, or not at all. Just promise me this, that you'll give me all your kisses every winter, every summer, every fall.
There you go, huh?
It was a direct love song about taking your kisses.
It was, yeah. I was like, okay.
I think it's adorable, and I love it.
Yes.
But there was a part I looked up, and you looked a little awkward.
Yeah, I was like, okay, all right. Kisses from Virginia's mom. I did get an email here that says the song that Virginia's mom is singing, it's a Spanish song called Cuando Caliente el Sol is the name of it. Okay.
All right. Is that popular?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think it's maybe when the sun heats up or something like that is what it's trying to say. But correct me if I'm wrong. Still in the beginning stages of my Espanol, and I definitely need correction, so let me know.
You're way ahead of me, and I've been trying to learn as well. I'm just trying to pick out words that I recognize, because I was very impressed. Someone was speaking Spanish to you, and you were able to at least follow along with what they were saying.
Yes. Now, there are ways that you organize the words sometimes. I'm still very much, for the most part, a literal translator, and sometimes that doesn't work because as the words get smashed together, it doesn't make actual literal translation sense. You have to know that when they put these words together in this sequence, it actually kind of means this. And so I'm kind of trying to get to that level as I see some things like I could tell you probably word for word what probably 80% of the words mean. But then as I smash them together in a sentence, I'm like, I think this is what it's saying, but I'm not positive. But I do appreciate all these Spanish speakers who are helping me out, because I don't really have that on a day-to-day, and that's what I need. You know, in fact, I talk a good bit with the little app. I've been doing Duolingo for years, and that's where I've gotten my Spanish knowledge. And they have where they talk to you and this and that, but they don't necessarily, when you're saying something a little bit wrong, they don't necessarily correct you. You just learn by listening to how they say it. And so you can be a little bit off. And in fact, I do have somebody that is calling me out here on how I say a very important word in Spanish, and they've got me saying it incorrectly to help me out here. There's definitely people that are still enjoying their cocaine.
Okay, Kevin, Spanish lesson.
Yep.
In Spanish, cocaine is not cocaine. It's cocaína.
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 Okay, cocaína. And you know, sometimes too, I don't take the time to stop down, because when you talk Spanish, there's some more speed bumps that go on for a non-native speaker.
There really are.
And so I might go a little too fast and I'll gringoize it. But yeah, to properly do cocaína, Like you gotta do all this kind of like stuff and really be moving your tongue and your mouth and all that stuff. And I maybe go a little too quick and should pronounce a lot better. In fact, that's one of the recommendations. I think is Panchita's like, you just got to slow down a little bit, kind of take your time with it, and then you'll sound a little bit more native.
And I'm trying to speak it to where I'm not overly doing an accent because I'm not trying to do that.
I know, because sometimes
I don't want to be cocaine.
I feel the same way when the gringo does it. I'm like, oh, he's being an asshole.
Exactly.
He's trying to insult us, that little prick. And so, so sometimes I do kind of, because I'm like, I know my lane. I know I'm a gringo dude. I'm just not, to the level yet where I feel kind of go, cocaína, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So I purposely gringoize a bit up some of my Spanish. So, but I do appreciate you guys. A big part of it that I'm starting to realize, and this is where I'm not at, I don't have confidence. And I think that is something where I want to be confident in my speaking. Everything that I say or that I'm so shy and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to completely butcher this. I mean, you're going to be insulting or they think I'm a moron or there's all these negative thoughts that rush into my head when I try to speak Spanish. And I've got to get to a point where I get that confidence or I don't care and I just let it fly. And I don't have a group of people that I feel like I can say all the mistakes and sound like a gringo like I am.
Well, if you're doing a lesson, you're going to make mistakes. But if you're going out into the wild and trying to have a conversation and then you're like, cocaína, and then you're going, well, why are you saying it like that? You're so going over the top with it. And I mean, I'm over the top at times.
Well, I used to laugh because I'd hear TV people that would do it. They'd be talking normally, like, and then all of a sudden, cocaína, and they'd be like, what? And then but, I think some people can do that and make that switch seamlessly, and it sounds great.
It's the no confidence. That's how I am when I don't remember someone's name, and then there's a moment in the conversation where you almost have to say their name. You're like, hey, what's up, COVID?
Right. You got to say it the Spanish way. So, so I do appreciate all the little lessons. Thank you very much. We're doing our best to try to get there, but I really have got to get with people that are really helping me out and just make me talk and then correct me right there and be like, yeah, because I'm going to put everything in the wrong order and that kind of stuff. And that's where I am with it.
It's the little words in between, too, your thes and ats and all that, where it's kind of just your basic. Those are the things I have the most trouble with.
Yeah,
because you don't know when to put them in.
Yeah. And then, the other thing is getting the right tense of a word right. And you think in English, that's tricky as well. When you have something past tense, current tense, all that stuff. So that's tricky for me as well. But hopefully we will get there one day. I do have an email here from our bud, Ryan, in Lake Worth Beach. Really kind of broke it down. This is interesting. It's kind of an analysis of the Brightline train, which I still have high hopes that this will be the game changer it was meant to be. And it will be, to me, a game changer when it is something that we can all actually afford to use.
That's what I didn't realize it was the Brightline. I thought it was just a train. But Denny's goes, no, that's the Brightline. When I was getting a massage up there in Jensen Beach.
Yeah.
The massage place is right by the Brightline. So and while you're getting a massage, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, that was one of the big complaints when it was coming through, was people right in that area, the confusion corner of, having the train traffic, the added train traffic, because, for some of those businesses, it's so close. They will rattle and feel the effects of every train. And you got one, I think, once an hour that is rolling through there. And so a lot of people did not want that, saying, look, they're just heading to Orlando anyway. We got to deal with all the pain, and Brightline's making the money. Now, what Ryan said here, he said, I'm really big into stats and analyzing the bizarre living situations in South Florida. And he is. He gives us a lot of information and analysis. And he said, what's odd here is the death toll from the Brightline train. It is extraordinarily high. 200 plus have been killed from the Brightline. And you are talking about a rail system, what was it? It opened in like 2017, something like that. Said even though nobody on board an actual Brightline train has ever been killed, nearly 2/3 of all Brightline strikes are fatal. He said, and it's not just suicides either. I know a lot of people think it's just people that are wanting to end their life and they're walking into the track situation. But he said if you remove suicides from the equation, which account for 25% of all Brightline deaths, the Brightline is still 6 deviations deadlier per mile than any other train system in all developed countries. He said, you can't even compare the safety. He said, the only country on earth with a deadlier rail system is North Korea, and all their deaths occurred on board their trains due to infrastructure collapse, not people on the actual train tracks themselves. He said, 6 standard deviations means this should never happen. And he said, I've personally seen the train gates malfunction in Lake Worth Beach, especially on 6th Avenue South. There's other instances where I've seen cars get pushed onto the tracks by the car behind them. Well, that's an asshole move.
Could you say that's murder?
You could have a manslaughter on
Or a
that.
manslaughter.
Yeah, depending upon the intent that would happen there and what they could prove. If it's your ex-wife, they may get more than manslaughter.
That's a great email, because I did not know those numbers, and there's got to be a main reason why this is happening.
Well, and his other point to it as well, he said the Brightline's not even profitable. I don't know a single person who can actually afford to use it. And I work 2 full-time jobs. I got to work one job just to pay for car expenses, with car insurance being the biggest expense just to get to my other full-time job. And that's what I'm saying. You know, to me, I really thought it'd be something that we could all afford to use, and it would quickly get you from Miami to West Palm and Boca and Lauderdale and Aventura in between, and just say, hey, man, it's like it doesn't matter if you work in Miami and live in West Palm Beach, which he works in Miami and he lives in Lake Worth, so it would be really handy for him. So, well, I mean, it is an odd thing.
My odd thing is it something to do with the actual technical part of the Brightline, or are people just not paying attention and walking in front of it? Or
great question. I've heard about there being in other places more barriers around the tracks. It's not as easy to get on them. And I'm not an expert, so I don't know. I don't know in other cities why you have the deaths here that you don't in other places. And maybe they have better alert systems, better rail guards that come down. Maybe the people just understand trains and the fact that this thing isn't even a decade old yet, that maybe people still haven't figured it out. So maybe it's just we're a bunch of idiots in South Florida. I don't know. That could be it.
Oh, that's possible too.
Right. Yeah, so who knows? But yeah, interesting stuff. And I hope one day that they get mass transit figured out in South Florida. And the more we grow, they're going to have to really get to that. That's going to have to become a priority for somebody, that we can get people around, because it takes forever now. And South Florida is so spread out. And I'm doing more and more business with people that might be in Fort Lauderdale or Miami. And I think the same is happening the other way around. And right now, it's just so inconvenient to try to get between the two cities. You need 2 to 2.5 hours. Talking to my daughter's friend who came up, saw him at the South Florida Fair. It took him 2.5 hours to get from Brickell in Miami on a Friday night. I'm like, that's insane. No. I know, exactly. And he had to come up for business. And it should never take you just shy of 3 hours to get from one side of your metro to the other.
That's why I think it's so funny when we start talking about, hovering cars in the sky. Good luck trying to navigate that and not having that. But now we've got shit flying from the sky because, someone's not watching.
They have many towers and are building many more in downtown Miami that are going to have those helipads on it. They're getting ready for it.
I don't know, man. I feel this. We're not ready yet.
Yeah. No, we're not. We can't even drive cars yet. So we'll see. Now, here's a little piece of advice from Chris. He said you were talking about lovebugs getting on your car when you drive through the middle of the state. And I've been driving from Palm Beach to the West Coast a few times a year since 2001. What I do is I spray the front of the car with cheap cooking spray, and then you wipe it off when you get to your West Coast destination, put it back on before you come to Palm Beach. And both times, it's very cleanable. The love bugs actually wipe right off, because otherwise, if you haven't done that, it's amazing how resilient, how tough it is to get them suckers off your vehicle. That is a very smart move. So there's a little hack for you if you're doing that. Now, if you are dealing with distance, we were talking about that, people who have relationships and how it is different now. Virtually, you can do it. You can see each other. Some of the cool things about it, some of the challenges that go into it. And we had Sarah who left us this mic drop talking about her long distance relationship and how they made it work.
Heard you guys talking about virtual relationships and kind of wanting some insight on that. So my husband and I, we've now been married 16 years, which we are so proud of. But when we first met, he was actually in Iraq on a deployment. He had just gotten there, and we met by total chance, just randomly through friends. Since he was deployed, we kind of only had time to talk, which for someone like me who struggles pretty bad with anxiety, it was nice that there was no physical pressure off the bat, and I could really get to know him, before we met face to face. Really credit that part of our relationship to being one of the reasons why our marriage is so strong, because we really developed quite a friendship.
Okay.
Yeah,
that is good.
So many people bang, then hang. This is hang, then bang.
Yeah, I think there obviously has to become a place, and we can't let the virtual replace the human touch and the face-to-face, but I think it's a great lead-in. I don't have any problems with it. I think that, to me, there would be a limit.
Exactly. There's a limit. I like the idea of getting to know somebody, because I think a lot of times people don't get to know somebody right off the bat. It's always kind of physical for the most part. Mm-hmm. Then if you get to become friends with them,
yeah,
I think that's not a bad move.
Yeah,
but eventually you're going to want to get it wet.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, to me, you're not really, if there's never any physical touch, I'm not, at least to me, I won't say for anybody else, to me, that's not a real relationship.
Well, you can only toss off and do mutual masturbation so many times until you're like, all right.
If we're never face-to-face and I never see you, but maybe once a year, every couple of years, to me, I couldn't have that kind of relationship. Because it's not there. I want companionship. I actually want a physical person right beside me.
You want to get some.
Yeah. Don't we all?
No, but even just, I'm being a bit crass, but even just on the snuggling and the hugging and all that.
Yeah.
Some people really love it. I'm a person that loves that stuff.
Well, that's what we hit yesterday on the regular show, is how important that is and what it does. I didn't realize that for guys, the touch of a boob, it lowers those cortisol levels. And it does kind of make sense biologically how we're wired. It's about safety. Guys are always on guard. And now our senses are always telling us that we're under attack from different directions. And man, don't you feel that? Anytime you go out anywhere, you just feel like the attack is coming at you from every single direction.
I swear, the last 4 times I've gotten out, I've gotten into a weird altercation with somebody.
Right. And it jacks with your stress levels and that cortisol that, is the stress hormone, and it's not good for you. And really about the only way to bring that thing down is to touch a boob.
Well, if I'm touching a boob, I'm not distracted with the worries of the world.
Something about it for a man. Yeah, it just kind of takes those worries away. So you can go out and you can do something really nice for your men, ladies, and let them touch your boob today and see just how they relax. A couple other things that came at us. Allison has got a bone to pick with me. She said, I have got a master's degree in school counseling. I work as an academic advisor at FAU, and I take offense to how you spoke about guidance counselors having done, quote, nothing for you on the ATS. There are over 900 students currently attending Logan High School, according to the website, and that's where I went to school. And I was talking about when I was in high school. And there are three guidance counselors, giving each of them a caseload of over 300 students. They also deal with administration, parents, coaches, etc. When is it you expect them to have time to delve into each student's life and what they want to be when they grow up? It would be great if guidance counselors and academic advisors could counsel students on career and life choices, as well as being therapists for their problems at home or with friends. But for that, you would need a caseload of probably no more than 175 students as a counselor. And quite frankly, the school district's expectations are unrealistic. Cut them some slack. They're doing the best that they can without the resources or time to do all the things that they should do. Now, I'll tell you, Allison, I wasn't really coming down on the guidance counselors. I said that they did not do anything to help point me in the right direction for my career. It wasn't a condemnation on them. I'm just stating a fact of what they did. They didn't help me figure out where I was going, and I went through 6 majors in college.
Well, you're speaking on your own experience. I mean, I the same thing. My guidance counselor didn't do much for me either.
Yeah, and those numbers, I understand why. I'm not saying that they were the problem. And I think your email is fantastic that you lay it all out, but it did not do a lot to help me. And that's where I think helping to get people on the right career path to do something that fits into their skill set is something that we should prioritize. Now, if we can't do it face to face, and if a human can't do it, at least let's do it through some kind of quiz or something like that students could take. And I don't remember me having anything like that where it would analyze my grades, performance, giving me an aptitude test to see how quickly I could think through certain problem solving to say, hey, the way your mind works, you would be great in this. And maybe that's what they should do if you've got 300 people per counselor. But yeah, not condemnation on them. It's more a condemnation on the system. I think you and I actually agree on this, but it was not effective. Not effective at all. So, not your fault, though. System's fault.
You dick.
I think that was a line from Fast Time at Ridgemont High.
It was.
It's a great line.
When Mr. Hahn takes away his pizza that Spicoli ordered in class, and he takes away the pizza, makes the other kids eat it, he looks at it and goes, you dick!
It is one of the best ways anyone's ever said dick ever in a movie. Got a suggestion here from Stacy for Am I Close? You said, you always do nonfiction facts, but what if you tried it with more obscure fairy tales? Like, tell me what happened in Rumpelstiltskin or Hansel and Gretel or Puss in Boots. I think it'd be funny to hear the interpretations of what they think it is. Love you guys. Love the show. Okay. Thank you for the suggestions. I always do appreciate the ideas.
I don't know if I know. I mean, I know of those stories. I don't know if I know what the stories are. Like Puss in Boots, my mind kind of starts to wander a little bit. What is that about?
Puss in Boots was the cat that was the swordsman. And I think Puss in Boots was a bit of a troublemaker, maybe a bit of a thief, is kind of what happened with Puss in Boots. And I remember that mainly from the cartoon that they did. And I think I saw that maybe 10, 15 years ago. Rumpelstiltskin, that is the person that slept for 100 years?
And that one I'm more familiar with. Doesn't he like to eat kids and shit? And he scares them all the time? If you say his name?
I don't know.
Does Yeah, okay, all right. I knew Denny's would know.
Okay. So was Rumpelstiltskin in the Epstein files?
Yeah, he was the one who, if you guessed his name correctly, he won't take your child.
Damn, this
messed
kids,
up.
Yeah, Kid's Tale?
Yeah, a lot of those old Grimm tales, they're actually edited, the ones we have, and they're still kind of messed up, but the original versions are very rough.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Even the Humpty Dumpty is kind of fucked up. He's crashing and breaking.
Yeah.
As a kid, you're like, oh shit, Humpty?
And they couldn't put him back together again, right?
I don't think they could.
I don't think he ever got assembled, yeah.
So he just freaking died in front of everybody and just laid there.
It's pretty messed up.
That is kind of messed up. Yeah, you're right. They are all very dark.
They love to mess with kids, man. And scare the shit out of them.
It came from an odd era. I don't know when a lot of those things were popularized. I don't know if it happened during Black Death or after, but yeah, it seems like it was dark, dreary England that we brought with us on the boats over, and there was a lot of depressing stuff going on.
Ring Around the Rosie, isn't that some...
That one has to do with the Black Death. Yeah, that was the sores that you had, and that's what they were describing. Ashes. I don't know if that was cremation. I think it's because they had to burn the bodies or something.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah. What is it? Ashes full of...
Ashes,
Ring
we
around
all
the
fall
rosy,
down.
pocket full of posies. I think the posies had to do with maybe the odor of death or something like that.
Yeah, I think they thought that plagues were spread by scent, and they used flowers to mask it.
That's why a lot of the people, I remember that during our own pandemic, we had those big old beaked guys, and you saw how horrifying the doctors looked then. I think it had to do with recycling air or something like that, right? Or they had a filter in it.
They would stuff that
beak.
They would stuff the beak with flowers. They're called plague masks.
So that's maybe what the pocket full of posies was about. They thought the smell of the flowers.
Yeah, they didn't realize that the plague was being spread by rats. They didn't know that.
And it was the fleas on the rats, right?
Yep, it was the rat. It all stemmed from the rats. Yeah, rats and fleas.
That's why
Poor
sanitation.
conditions.
Yeah, sanitation was so important because the streets would just be running with poo juice.
Well, they used to just take the chamber bucket and just empty it out the window.
That's terrifying. I mean, that's unbelievable.
That is gnarly shit.
I mean, honestly, thank God. We got a lot of crazy stuff, but I will take this any day of the week than having somebody throw a bucket of poo out their window and hit me with it.
That's what I'm saying. I know we always go, man, things are so crazy these days. It's so crazy. But buckets of shit coming out the window, that's even crazier.
That's why I always tell people, you have to know history, because people that have recency bias or just don't know, and they want to make these broad statements about today. And it's like, you have no idea. You don't have the right perspective. Like, yes, things are messed up. We are far from living in a utopia, but my gosh, things aren't as bad as they used to be. You know what? And if it is, let's get you a time machine and let's have someone hit you with a bucket of poo water and let's just see how you're feeling.
Without air condition, by the way.
Let's have all your friends dropping dead all over the place because they got the Black Plague.
And let's sing a song about it.
Yeah. Nuh-uh.
We all fall down?
No, I know the Brightline's scary as hell, but I will take that over the bubonic plague.
I will too.
My goodness. Well, there are a couple things going on today. I don't know if anything's going to happen out of it, but they are going to be dragging Les Wexner. That is the Abercrombie & Fitch dude. He's going to be deposed today to discuss his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. I feel like he's answered a lot of questions, so I don't know if anything's going to come of that, but you know, that is a name and that really was paramount in getting Jeffrey Epstein to the status where he was. He did bankroll a lot of his enterprise.
There's some crazy claims that are being thrown out there, and I'm going, all right, I'll bring that up on the show. And I go, nah, I don't even know how to fact check this shit anymore. I don't know if it's real. And some of it's political at times because there's political people that's in those files.
Sure, yeah.
And there's some crazy claims in there.
There is. You know, the thing that's interesting, they are starting to stockpile lists of people that have at least lost their job or resigned. You know, yesterday we talked about Pritzker there with the Hyatt hotels that he took an early retirement than he would have because of the pressure coming out of that. And look, is that justice if these people were in the deeper recesses of what was going on with Jeffrey Epstein? Absolutely not. It's not even close. But there is at least people that, you know, at least names are happening. Some of the dominoes are falling to some extent. It's better than what we had. Now, the other thing that comes out about this, and I'm telling you, Palm Beach County is going to have some questions that they got to answer. You know, we had one of our KVJ Nationers, and she brought up the point, but she had gone to Royal Palm Beach High School, knew some of the girls at the time. Apparently, the stories were all over the hallways, and people knew. Now, I don't know what the responsibility is of a school to step in, and that was just kind of her question. Well, I think did they do enough?
If they knew about it, they should absolutely have stepped in.
Yeah, and it had come out after, you know, Joe Rogan was talking about how it was a fight in the halls of Royal Palm Beach High School that kind of broke it open, where these two girls were fighting because the one girl's calling her a hooker, and they're like, what's going on here? And then they found out that she had money, was getting the car service rides and the black sedans back and forth from Epstein's place. And then they started saying, okay. And then they started looking into it. Now what they're starting to kind of find out now is how much they were actually looking into, or should have been looking more into, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell before 2005. Between the years of 2001 and 2004, in 2001, college students reported that Maxwell recruited young women to work at Epstein's Palm Beach mansion. 2 students alleged inappropriate touching. Police found no crime. In March of 2004, a masseuse told police Epstein repeatedly asked her to undress during a session. The investigation did not progress. In August, same year, taxi driver reported overhearing 2 teenage girls discussing being paid to date in Palm Beach after being dropped at Epstein's home. No charges followed on that. November 2004, Epstein's property manager told police off the record that many young girls visited for massages, but no action was taken. So these are the kind of things where they're going to be like, all right, you know, why did we do the right thing? Did we dismiss this too quickly? And if we did dismiss it, was it simply because you didn't think there was a case there, or did you realize who was involved and you cut them some slack?
Was it just one high school that he was creeping around? I know that's the only one that's out.
Mm-hmm. I don't know of the victims from other ones. Royal Palm Beach is the one that it seemed like they had an in there, but I would not be surprised. I think there was maybe mention of another one, but I don't know of any confirmations on that.
I wonder how bummed out Royal Palm Beach High School is too, because their name's always attached to this horrific case.
Well, I think there's some people in Palm Beach County, whether it be that school, whether it be some of the former lawmakers that we had, that might say, yeah, man, I don't know. And only they know in their heart of hearts what they did. And if they feel like they did good work and they did it fair and they would have done the same thing for anybody, they shouldn't be nervous. But if they do know they caught somebody some slack because of who they were, or they took a bribe, they should be nervous. I hope that they're shitting in their pants right now. They should be. That's how I hope they feel. I hope anyone who needs to be brought to justice is crapping in their pants, that they are going to be finally brought to justice. And that's all I'm rooting for. Aside from any names, I don't care about the names. To me, this is more of a rich versus poor type thing, which I think of what a lot of it is. I think it's elites that take advantage of the people who are not powerful and not rich like themselves, and they treat them like second-class citizens. And I hate that. And I mean, I can't tell you the concept of sex trafficking, how much I am against that. So they say police began a formal investigation only after a 2005 complaint that Epstein molested a 14-year-old girl. And in 2008, he pled guilty to 2 solicitation charges and served 13 months in jail with the work release. That sweetheart deal, that's the big question. No one's getting an answer on that. And in 2019, federal prosecutors charged him with sex trafficking of minors. He died in jail that year. They ruled by a suicide. So who knows? But yeah, all of the rumors that come out, that's what people are doing. The one that I saw today was they were running a video back of Kurt Cobain right before he died when he was in Nirvana. And he was, I think maybe in a neighborhood, might have been Seattle. I'm not positive exactly where it was. I think it was Seattle because he knew. And he said, yeah, they were over there doing all kinds of like dark, the rich people were taking the girls in there. And he was talking about all this kind of stuff. And they said, and then like 10 days later, he died. Was he killed because he knew too much?
Was he talking about Epstein or just a different thing that he had seen?
I think he was just talking about elites that were having their way with poor, younger girls. It's really the same mantra, just changing the names. So that's what they said. But hopefully justice is right around the corner. But that was the latest stuff that was going on today with that. Now, I wonder, anybody who does this kind of stuff, do you think that you're never going to get caught? There is a Best Buy employee in Palm Beach Gardens has been accused of a fraud scheme totaling over $118,000 in losses by exploiting the store's discount system. The store manager found that Matthew Laterra, 36, initiated heavily discounted transactions in March of 2024. He made 97 transactions for himself, totaling losses of over $81,000 for Best Buy.
How do you think you're not going to get caught?
I wonder that. I mean, I do hear these stories and this kind of stuff happens. He then processed 52 transactions for other employees and individuals at a loss of over $36,000.
I would be so paranoid all the time, especially with cameras and just digital footprint. I don't see how you could not get away with this or how you could get away with it.
They had an overall loss of over $118,000. And then that's when they started looking in, and they had all kinds of Apple MacBook Pro laptops that he'd pawned. So he had a racket almost like he was checking them out of the store, then he's selling them on a secondary market and then taking the cash.
His appetite got too big. And I think that's what ends up happening.
Yeah.
Your appetite ends up getting big because you get careless and you start to think you're not going to get caught. You go, oh, I'm going to do it one more time. One more time. You go, I got away with it again. One more time. And then you get caught.
It's just unreal. Yeah, how you do that, the nerves that you would have. You know, I'd known somebody back in the day, never had any idea. They always had a lot of expendable cash and were taking cool vacations and home improvements and just, you know, a lot of fun to be around. And same thing. She controlled the books and she was funneling off money and wound up going to prison for many years because of it. But I was like, just every single day, I couldn't enjoy any of that.
I couldn't enjoy it.
No, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like it's coming, man.
Well, especially with how much body cam stuff I watch, you see these kind of body cams where people get busted all the time doing these kind of scams. And every knock on the door, I'd go, oh my gosh, it's happening. It's going down now.
Yeah, they get so caught up, I guess, in just the material possessions, and they think that's going to bring you the happiness. But yeah, how you ever can remove yourself from how you're getting that stuff and not thinking about the legal implications that you're likely going to face one day to even enjoy the stuff that you had gotten by ill-gotten means.
Sometimes they say that that's what happens to serial killers. If they've been out and not caught for a while, they get sloppy. Because no one's caught him. Bundy said, you know, the first few victims, I was cleaning everything. And I was so... Yeah. And then he goes, by the 30th, you're wondering, hey, where's my lug nut ad?
Yeah, right. You get careless. Yeah. And who knows if that's what happened to him or just eventually. Because, too, those things, yeah, you might get 1,000 here or there. But when you're at the $118,000 mark, eventually... you would think that sets off an alarm bell somewhere at a corporate office.
And I'm not condoning it because all this is wrong, but you would have to steal smartly and have a strategy. And some people are able to do that. Your appetite got too big.
Not to mention, you're at a Best Buy that's just cameras everywhere. I mean, that's what they do is electronics.
They fucking sell them.
You don't think they don't have surveillance all over that place? That's just unreal to me. It's crazy.
It sounds like it took them a while, though, to figure it out.
Yeah. It did. I mean, yeah, he had a nice little run. I think he was doing a lot of stuff, but it was like maybe over the course of a couple of years. So they finally got him. All right, well, got a busy week. There's a ton of stuff going on this weekend. I'm very excited. Spring training is beginning.
What do the Ralstons got on deck?
Going out to opening day on Saturday.
Nice.
Yes, so very excited about that. In fact, I got 3 games already scheduled, 2 with KVJ, and then I'm going to go out on Saturday for day 1. So that is going to be my big to-do. But yeah, all kinds of events are going on. You got the Delray Open that is happening, and they have got very cool little bourbon and brews event, bourbon burgers and brews. That is going on tonight. They do a food event every single night, so I'm going to go check that out. And then tomorrow night, we're doing our one little fancy event for the year. The Heart Ball is going on at the Breakers.
Oh, okay. Are you going to that?
Taking the Queen. Yep.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, baby. I tucks it up for that one.
Oh, okay. This is fancy shit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little dabble. It's interesting to see that world and how they live. And this is the time of year where if you ever watch like Palm Royale or anything like that, where everything is one of these events every weekend. And it's all about charity. It's either for the Norton Museum of Art or it's something else. It's a charitable thing. So philanthropy is the big thing. All these rich people, they get their tax write-offs. In fact, they're doing one today. I went to a couple years ago with my wife. It's called the Old Bags Luncheon.
Oh, I think Virginia did that before, too.
She might have. It's a cool one. I went to it when they had it at the Colony. They're having it today at the Breakers. So if you really want to see what Palm Beach looks like, that's kind of going into some of these events. Priscilla Presley is hosting it.
All right.
So she's going to be there, but then that's where you see everybody is wearing the Lily Pulitzer, and you kind of get the fair. And the old bags are, designer bags that would be $25 to $50 or $100,000 that you can get for a lot cheaper, but then the proceeds go to charity. And so these wealthy women donate their bags for the Old Bags Luncheon.
I remember that was either the first event or one of the first events I done with the show here was there was some kind of gala of sorts. It was in a rich hotel, and it was Lily Pulitzer.
Yeah, Lily Pulitzer. Yeah.
And I remember I had to wear the clothes, but it was a little small, and I had way more big of a gut than I do now. I just didn't look right, man. I did not look right. I was busted through my Pulitzer.
Yeah, it's an odd thing. Palm Beach fashion. It's very interesting to see what the people wear, and it is kind of a body style too that it kind of works with. I don't think I can wear fancy clothes. That sleek look. I got too big of a fupa. Yeah. My back fat gets in the way. It really gets exposed on those really nice kind of slender shirts. My tits are popping. It's not a good look. Yeah, no, I hear you. It is tough. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to how you get that Palm Beach body. I think it's just money. It looks like you have a trainer. Not that all of them are massively fit, but they all seem to almost have like the same body style. Well, even with my body is now, I'm less weight than what I'm talking about, but I put on a V-neck shirt the other day, and it looked shitty, man. I'm fat skinny. It's weird. It's tough, yeah. I look skinny in my clothes, but if you put on fancy clothes, you're like, he's got man tits. I know. I get it. I'm there, brother. I get it. That's why you got to get something that fits right. So we'll see. So a lot of good stuff going on. Of course, we'll let you know everything that's happening. Today is Ash Wednesday. If you're Catholic, I guess this is where you get serious and you are all about repenting today, penance. For everybody else, it's National Drink Wine Day. Okay, so you can go either way. You can go either way today, depending upon what is your thing. Virginia going to be back with us tomorrow doing the dirt and everything else, so back to full capacity. Y'all enjoy your Wednesday. We'll see you back here then. Goodbye.